Infode has opened a roundtable to accept direct feedback from players. Since today's survey day, I thought it was the perfect moment to share everything that I have learned after weeks and weeks of collecting everyone's thoughts on multiple issues. I've compiled everything into this master list, which you can use as a reminder for the survey in case you feel it. Feel free to share this video as well if you participate on the roundtable, because although I am aware this may close doors for me in the future, I just really care about this game, and my experience has been really positive so far, and I want to do everything that I can to ensure everyone has the same experience as well. But before we start, an important disclaimer is these don't necessarily always represent my own opinions. I have remained neutral and simply collected the hundreds of comments and polls that I have done in the past few weeks. So please be kind and respectful in the comments. We all love this game and want it to improve. So I'll start with update 1.5, as it has the most critical issues, and later I'll quickly mention other small improvements requested by me and also other players. So I'll start with update 1.5, as it has the most critical issues, and later I'll quickly mention other small improvements requested by me and by other players. Because this is to be kind of like part of my letter to the roundtable, I will refer to Infode directly in this video, so moving on, when I say you, I mean Infode. First, I want to talk about the Sea of Stars, because I have tons of ideas and suggestions that I'm sure everyone will love. The Sea of Stars is empty, and the daily tasks are repetitive and boring. But there are some suggestions I have that could easily fix the entire area. First of all, think of the Sea of Stars as a special theme park. The seesaw and animal ring could be nice if it was accompanied by other fun multiplayer activities. For example, the carousel from Carnival Island could be re-implemented here, with a new design to fit the theme. We could also have a teacup ride in the water, making more use of the ocean space that is quite big and empty at the moment. I can use my mermaid outfit to walk on the water, but there is no purpose in doing so. We could also have an area that spawns bubbles for us to pop with our attacks, like a pop-up balloon stand, or maybe a whack-a-mole where we need to use our plunge attacks on. We could have a dance floor with a wholesome party song similar to the bonfire in Carnival Island. You could reutilize the hopscotch game that changes our clothes from Flower Wish. You could add a small, well-designed photo booths for people to take photos together. The animal ring could have a little animal parade where animals wear the cute outfits, which you could reutilize the same ones from Fluff Parade and the Taylor outfit, for example, to not have to create new assets. Another thing is that many players don't actually know you can open a global chat when sitting down on the benches. Maybe add a bunch of well-designed picnic spots, maybe with fallen stars and nice starry theme for people to sit down, chat and take pictures. We could have some swings and maybe a starlight boat ride in the water as well, which could maybe make the water glow. We could have a daily treasure hunt as a task, where you need to find a bunch of chests hidden in the Sea of Stars, and these chests could contain a bunch of prisms for the die system, which is another pain point I'll mention more later in the video. Also, like the Carnival Island, you could implement a shooting star show that happens every in-game day at night, so people can watch the shooting stars together. You could literally reutilize the shooting stars animations from update 1.2. Add plants and other materials that we can collect in the Sea of Stars. Maybe materials that could be used for crafting furniture on our house in the future, making the exploration more interesting in the Sea of Stars. Lastly, but not least, please make the immersive mode from the UI actually immersive. We want to play hide and seek with other players using our momos, but the player arrow is always visible, making it impossible. It makes no sense. The immersive mode should hide completely all of the UI elements, except for the turn on button again, of course. So these are my suggestions to improve the Sea of Stars area. But another common complaint is that some people do not actually enjoy the multiplayer. It's very few people, but still quite mentioned quite frequently as well, enough to be of note. Please let them deactivate it so they can explore the Sea of Stars alone. For the theme park, perhaps Momo could sit down on the seesaw and the carousel and the other activities alongside Nikki, since there wouldn't be any ghosts around, to make it feel a little less lonely. And lastly, on this topic, the Sea of Stars dress has no relevance to new players. It doesn't even appear in the story and has no connection to anything else. For old players, it hurts because such an important outfit with such a story relevance has completely lost its meaning in the story. This brings us to the next point, which is the main issue of Update 1.5, and is what really brought every player together because everyone is dissatisfied with this story retcon. In your last apology, it was subintended that you believe players only care about the threads of the reunion outfit being absent. That is not the issue. The real issue is the story that we learned to love of Nikki being whisked away from the attic to Mirrorland, Momo's importance as our companion, the impact of meeting Anna, and arriving at Mirrorland and obtaining the Heart of Infinity. All of that was completely lost. Quite literally, no one is happy with this story change, so my suggestion is introduce the Sea of Stars intro later in the gameplay. Maybe once a player reaches Mirror level 7, they could get a quest to be introduced to the co-op and the Sea of Stars. It could be a dream or a past memory that Nikki has unlocked, connecting her to the other Nikkis from other timelines. So far, you have spent a lot of time redoing the intro multiple times, and honestly that's unnecessary. We want more story content that progresses Nikki's journey instead of redoing the intro over and over again. Then we have the dice system. You said that the bouquet event was a preview for the dice system. When you introduced the whole new premium currency just to dye clothes, you completely broke every player's trust. Not only that, but the colors are so limited and the outfits available are so limited, it completely ruins the experience, rendering it borderline useless. If I can dye my outfits, I can't even make it full black or full white in most cases, unless it's a 5-star with 4 evolutions. That's just plain absurd, honestly. Unfortunately, now it's too late to remove the currency, considering some players would have already bought it. The only solution, in my opinion, is make use of the dye workshop at Stoneville and introduce a new sort of daily task that is optional, of course, that awards us dye system prisms permanently. Every day we can get a free way to get prisms if we want to. This way we can still dye everything without spending money, only it will take a little bit longer. And of course, like mentioned before, you could award us prisms daily on the Sea of Stars as well. Also, introduce a new color palette fixed for every single outfit. 3 stars, 4 stars, and 5 stars should have this new neutral color palette containing real blacks, real whites, and real grays. This should be the first palette on the list available to all of the pieces. And genuinely, don't you dare introduce more premium currency now, especially for the house system. The house system needs to be completely free or players will quit the game even more than they already are. This is not the right moment to do that, you know? Moving on, another common issue was content frequency. Players feel like there is a lack of meaningful content, while other players find it too overwhelming. Because the opinions are very divided, my personal suggestion is implement refreshable in-game content and activities, making use of what's already in the game. So this way there's no extra downloads, there is no extra assets to make, you literally just need to adjust some of the rewards and the refreshing frequency and you'll be done. So for example, make chests respawn from time to time, including areas like Firework Isles and Serenity Island, so players have a reason to go back to those places. Another thing is make the electricity posts respawn. We can actually use our electrician outfit then, maybe even add a daily repeating quest that is also optional, where you can play a song in the violin or flute to random NPCs in exchange for rewards. Material domains could award you new rewards for completing them again once a day. And minigames should give meaningful rewards such as thousands of threads, shiny and glitter bubbles, and hundreds of thousands of blinks. This way, people would play the game for more time and still get something useful out of their time. Currently, there is no point to play a minigame again because 1000 blinks is meaningless and useless for almost 3 minutes of gameplay. Also, it would be awesome to co-op invite more than one person. We know that we can invite dozens of people in the Sea of Stars and that's amazing, very fun, but would be nice to invite at least 3 more friends in our world as well, maybe? That could extend the gameplay as well. And pity increase. Many players complained about the 11-piece outfit. I know Infold has apologized already, but I have an additional suggestion. If you do introduce a new 11-piece outfit, don't make it a double banner. I believe that having 2 5-star banners with 11 pieces each worsened the situation. And I would not release any of those anytime soon until you restore the trust with the player base, which will take a lot of effort. Then for bugs, well, all I have to say is just don't do it again. Please open the testing, especially if you are introducing new maps and new features. I think that's just basic, there's nothing much to say now. Most of the bugs have been fixed, thankfully, but, lesson learned. Before moving on to minor issues, I would like to say 2 important things. First, I am happy for you, Infold, to use all of my ideas and suggestions in the game that I have mentioned in this video. This is a verbal agreement, if you will. Feel free to use it. And just to reinforce, this is not my personal thought, but the collection of hundreds of players. I am a UX UI designer, so feel free to ask me or contact me about anything I could help you with moving forwards. I am more than happy to represent the community and research the overall sentiment, making their voices heard and improving the game, which is my one and only goal. Also, I wanted to share how I would fix things if I was maybe managing this project to restore the players' trust. First, I would not release any new areas until update 1.9. In update 1.6, I'd implement the daily tasks at Stoneville to award more prisms every day, and I would change the rewards from the daily minigames, lampposts, and everything else that I mentioned previously, so players have tons of content to experience every day while everything else is being fixed. In update 1.7, I would focus completely in the Sea of Stars. I would finally restore the original intro and figure out the best placement for the Sea of Stars story elsewhere. Then I'd focus on adding those theme park gameplay mechanics that I mentioned to the Sea of Stars area, improving the multiplayer experience overall. That would make it feel almost like a new area because you would repurpose everything that is there existing and improve it so players can actually enjoy it. Finally, in update 1.8, I would release the house system and make it fully using the mirroring and overworld materials. We need to use those materials for something. Maybe crafting furniture in the house system is the perfect use for that. Additionally, I would actually communicate this to the players super early, maybe at update 1.6, so the players can already have a new goal of collecting tons of materials every day in the months prior to the house system. And of course, beta test everything throughout first, obviously. Lastly, for minor issues, these are points not necessarily related to update 1.5, but they are common points that could be improved little by little over the updates. First, on user interface, immersive modes needs to be really immersive, like mentioned. This way we can play hide and seek with others and take gonjas videos because no UI will be visible at all. Please ask a confirmation before we do a 10 poll in the banner to avoid accidental polling. Evolution menu and wardrobe still have severe scalability issues. It is still very hard to navigate, and it's only getting worse as more outfits are being added. One thing that I think is going to really help is let us have a single piece in the wardrobe and show all of the evolutions, dyes, and glow up colors as a separate button. After we select the piece, that's when you can choose which evolution you want, just to not clutter the wardrobe. Also, let us view completed quests. On the lore companion, you could add a new tab and let us see that. Fishing is not accessible on computer. It would be best if we could press and hold instead, like it's possible on mobile. Please add the notification on the warp realms for Chigda when it resets. A lot of people forget to exchange the tiers at the Chigda challenge every week because they just don't see anything there. And lastly, on the UI section is let players customize the minimap if it's fixed or rotating. In suggestions of new features that would solve things for a lot of players is, first, we need more skin colors. A color wheel is the only solution here, is the only way to make everyone happy and let players choose what's right for them. Then abilities should be dungeon and domain specific, not by region. Let us explore freely, using the gliding in Floral Wish or Momo everywhere, and leave those limitations to the curio domains and challenges. I'm aware that doing this to the already existing maps will be complicated because of how it was designed, but I mean that just for moving forwards. I know that the color of the attacks will be changed through the story, you already mentioned that, but perhaps we could unlock a new type of wind fragrance to change it after we unlock the colors in that point of the story in the future. Also, let us coordinate outfits with Momo. Maybe he could have 7 slots linked to Nikki's 7 slots. Let us hang out with NPCs and get to know them better, having some friendly interactions, for example quests with Nonoi, Giovanni, Adorina, and more. The outfit special effects, for example the scales on skin from Ribbon Reverie, should be a new type of unlockable makeup, so we don't need to wear the full outfit to see those effects. Another new makeup type could be nail polish. And please let us stack items like jackets and accessories. The face mask can stack with the sunglasses and glasses, and this would allow more fun designs. Let us choose the location where hats, hair clips, earrings, and brooches are, like left, right, or center. Be able to mix and match eye lenses, so we can make, for example, heterochromatic eyes. For gameplay, please add a way to store overflowing energy like other games do. And please add an auto-run toggle so we don't need to keep pressing the button every few seconds. Remove insight and blink caps. This just hinders gameplay experience and forces players to log out after 1 hour of gameplay, since we can't do anything else essentially. It makes no sense, this just has no logic. Then implement more chests and utilize more the abilities that we already have, like the electrician or Momo control like I mentioned before. And give us the sketches for the sovereign clothes, like Adorina and the Banshee. And that concludes everything that I have compiled. I'd like to say that yes, these are a lot of requests and a lot of criticisms, but I would say the priority is everything that I said at first about the update 1.5 section. Also, I would like to say that I'm doing this because I love the game, genuinely, and I believe there is a lot of unrest in the community at the moment, so I would like to say to the players, even if you are frustrated, don't let this bother you. You know, when it's mostly out of your hands, feel free to chat with others and vent out, and make sure your voice is heard and voice your concerns at the channels available. Let's keep the community wholesome as it's always been, respecting other opinions and being kind to each other. If you'd like to read the letter that I'm sending in fold, click on the Google Docs I've shared down below. And thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments if you feel like I have covered everything, and tell me if you're going to send anything for the round table as well. Thank you so much for watching and see you on the next one.
Ryan Little.